Okay, good evening. Greg Kaiser with Greg Kaiser Photography here, and this is not my normal setting. You are probably thinking, what in the world is he doing out here at night? Well, what I'm working on is actually a review on the Singh-Ray Astro filter. What it is a filter that's designed to help folks that like to do astrophotography, take pictures of stars, and that can't get out to those areas where there is no light pollution. So in order for me to really review this filter, I wanted to go ahead and start it off with the most difficult scenario. If this filter is supposed to deal with light pollution, well, we've got light pollution galore. I'm at the top of a parking deck in downtown Winston-Salem. The city lights are on, and we are going to put this filter to the test. And this right here is actually the filter. Not a whole lot to it. It's reasonably clear, as a matter of fact. But it is an 82 millimeter. Let's see if I can get it in here. There we go. It's a thin mount 82 millimeter Astro filter. And it does have a little bit of color correction to it. But what I've actually noticed, and I've been out here taking some shots, I found a dark corner of the parking deck. I'd actually started over there, but there was just too much light involved, and I was getting too much actual reflection on the lens, a lot of lens flare. So I came over here where it's a little bit darker, but we're still right in the middle of the light pollution. You can see some of the stars. I don't know if it's going to show here on the video or not, but you can see some of the stars. But for what I've actually done here, we've set the camera up best I could for these situations. Normally I would shoot a lot higher ISO, usually about 2500, give or take, about 20 seconds. Just can't do it. It actually comes out with a white screen. In fact, I will show you what I was running into. And this has nothing to do with the filter, because I actually did it both ways, with and without the filter. And these are the shots that I'm getting. That was 10 seconds, f2.8, and it was too much. As you see, I had quite a few of those. I was trying to dial in an exposure that would actually work, and what I found was somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 seconds or so worked pretty good. So what I've got going on here, let's see, I believe that was it. Yeah. For these shots, and of course I'm going to have everything in the final review as far as the images, but as you can see, this is the shot with the filter. I included this just to let you know kind of what it does with the foreground. It's not heavily lit, but of course with, you know, what we're looking at here, I was shooting, let's see, ISO 400, so really it should be a clean image, but at 400 ISO and 10 seconds at f2.8, pretty decent histogram. I've actually got a little bit of noise, not noise, but a little extra light here in the dark area. I did that on purpose because I really wanted to put the filter to the test. The next one that I did was the exact same exposure with the filter off. And what you can see here, that histogram shifts, it gets brighter. There's actually about a 2/3 of a stop loss of light with this filter. I don't see that as a bad thing, but just to keep everything fair, I went ahead and compensated for that and dropped it 2/3 of stop down to 6 seconds. So we actually get comparable exposures. This last one was without a filter, but the exposure is comparable to with the filter. I zoomed in, and right now I am actually, as you're seeing here, it shows up on the video, seeing some stars. And we go back, and with the same exposure, the same 10 seconds, you still see the stars. The screen is definitely brighter. And we come back here to the filter and you see the stars. It's hard to tell if they're any clearer, but what I can tell you is the color temperature has changed. Now, I started off doing this in auto white balance and realized really quickly that I would miss that change, so I've set this to daylight. It's probably not the most ideal for this type of photography. However, I think locking in that white balance and taking that variable out was the most important thing to do. So you can see just real quick here, it takes on a very yellow tint without the filter, and that tint is gone with the filter. You can still see the stars, so it's not going to create any kind of magic, at least from this test of this filter, as far as being able to see stars. I can tell you, I have a hard time seeing any of them with the naked eye. So already I'm seeing that the camera is seeing more than what I am seeing, which is a good thing for this test. Now again, we are right in the middle of light pollution central. Part of what I'm doing to combat that is I've got a reflector disc here that I'm using as a flag, and I make sure that I've got a shadow over my lens. So for all of these exposures, I'm not getting any extra flare on the lens. I'm trying to do everything I can to make this nice and almost scientific, as a matter of fact. But right now, I'm already kind of impressed, because I can imagine taken from a distance that yellow glow, and we're going to do more of this later, but the yellow glow that you see around the horizon when you're doing astrophotography, I already see a benefit with this filter taking that glow out. Again, it's not going to be that magic tool that's going to let you see stars if there are none, but I think when you are actually in a position to shoot the stars and you're near a city, I think it's going to make all the difference in the world. So I'm very hopeful with this, but we're going to continue on. We're going to do some more shots with this filter throughout some different conditions, different locations, and just see what it does and what it doesn't do. So thanks for joining me. It's been Greg Kaiser with Greg Kaiser Photography.